Hi everyone, my name is Erin Elizabeth Weinberg. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. Welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome if you are new here. Today is the 8th of August, August 8th. So that means we have an angel number tarot card reading for you for 8/8, but also is Lionsgate portal today. So we have a double special magical day for you today, or just a tarot reading if you don't care about any of that. Okay. So I have 4 groups for you today. You can go ahead and pick by the card you can see, the number, the sound of my voice, group 1, 2, 3, or 4. When you're ready, all the timestamps are below, and I will see you at the reading that you chose. Hi everyone, welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 1. So as a reminder, this is a 8/8 reading, so I am just going to be doing a quick 10-minute reading with some tarot cards and some oracle cards for you today. Okay, so you all pick the card, step out of your comfort zone, your North Node. So if you pick this card, there's some part of you that is resonating with it's time to let go of something. It's time to grow. It's time to, like, if you're wondering, like, am I ready to do this thing? Am I ready to go to the next step? Am I ready to whatever? The answer is yes. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so reminder that you are never 100% ready for things. You are never, like, it's never the perfect timing for things. It's never like, okay, I did this now, or like, I need one more day, I need whatever. You can discern and feel within your own body whether your body is actually saying, no, I need more time, I need to, figure it out, versus when it's like, okay, the time to, like, you're never 100% ready, never things to move forward, never feel 100% comfortable. So it's up to you to discern when that time is for you, and when it's time to be motivated, moving out of your comfort zone. A lot of us grew up or have programming around only being motivated to do something different as a reaction to something. And if you pick this group, I'm really hearing like it's time for you to recognize and remember that you can decide to do something different or take action or be different just because you feel inspired to and because you want to, not as a response to something, not when things get bad enough, not when, you have the gift of desperation, which I've been there. I know it is a gift and it does help us sometimes. Okay, but this is really about knowing that when it is time to step out of your comfort zone, you can trust that. And it feels like uncomfortable, and staying stuck is you really know, because staying stuck and staying where you are feels worse than taking the risk of moving forward and going on with your life and doing all these things. Okay, so stepping out of your comfort zone, group 1, I'm just hearing a lot of like, it's time to get moving, it's time to make it happen. It's time to, if you've been delaying something or being like, oh, let me wait till the exact right moment. Okay, there is no exact right moment. You're never 100% ready. It's time for you to just take one little action, right? Sometimes the other thing that can stop us too from moving out our comfort zone is like, we don't know all the steps, we don't know all the pieces, we don't know how everything's going to come together. And you don't have to worry about that. Okay, as long as you keep your heart open to God, and as long as you allow yourself to be guided in that way, you will be able to find the right place that's for you and be shown how to make those things happen for yourself. So all you have to do is take the guidance that's given to you right now. Just take one next right action and one next right action and one next right action, and all of that is going to add up, and all of that is going to help you, move forward into, whatever's coming up for you, however this is resonating. But it is time for you to move out of your comfort zone. It is time for you to, grow those wings and become the butterfly instead of being in the little cocoon anymore. Okay, group 1. Okay, I'm gonna pick 3 tarot cards for you. Okay, so we have the Moon, Ace of Wands, and 6 of Wands. So yeah, I feel like there's not really any resistance here with getting out of your comfort zone. And there isn't going to be really any resistance in terms of like being able to make things happen, or in terms of like, I'm hearing you have a lot of support from the other side, right? Our intuition is a gift from God, and our intuition and what we're being guided to do and trusting the desires that are in our hearts, those are all gifts from God to help us move forward in these things and like find our path. So when this moon here, this is really about like the subconscious. This is really about things that we can't see working out in our favor. So there's so many things that God is doing, so much stuff for us that we don't know about, orchestrating so many things, protecting us from so many things, all of that. And then sometimes we just forget that, and then we go into this Ace of Wands energy, or we forget that God's doing that, and then or we don't know, or we, whatever. And then, so this Ace of Wands is really about, okay, I have to do my part if I know God is doing all this other stuff for me. So it's like this relationship that works in tandem, right? Like God does for us that which we cannot do for ourselves. And as long as we're following our guidance and following what we're being called to do, how we're being asked to show up, where, we feel, and not in our ego way, but how we're really being called to be of service, all of that adds up and adds together to benefit ourselves. And then we have the Six of Wands coming out. So I feel like, again, this is a card of being proud of what you've done. This is a card of feeling confident. This is a card of like, you can be proud of these things that you're choosing for yourself. So if there is any doubt of getting out of your comfort zone, this is saying you're very supported by God. You can trust this like brand new energy, this new things you're called to do, this path you're called to be on, and it will result in something beneficial for you. We're supposed to grow on the soul level. Part of the human experience is continual growth and expansion, and not in like a capitalistic only way, just, on the soul level, growing and expanding. And so this will be something that will benefit you if you can open yourself up to trust that and take the first step, move forward, really trust what you're being called to do and how, and, you don't have to know everything right away. Okay, then we have expect a miracle. So I feel like, maybe getting out of your comfort zone, you're like, well, how am I going to figure out this and this thing? How are all these other pieces going to come together? How, whatever, right? This is, again, just what I was talking about of like, God does for us that which we cannot do for ourselves. And so God connects so many pieces for us. God always connects the dots. God always makes everything come together for us in a way we could never imagine. And so just having faith that as long as you're doing your part, God is going to go out of the way to make it happen for us. Like God is not punishing us. God always is helping us. God's our protecting friend. God is kind and gentle. It's just usually different than what our ego wants. And so that's why it can be hard for us to, be like, well, I wanted it this way and this thing and this exact whatever. But expect a miracle. Just a reminder that as long as you're on your path and doing what your heart feels called to do and what you feel connected to do, God will give you all these miracles of things coming together for you in like the right and perfect way. Okay, and we can get one of these cards for you now. Okay, then we have the Outlaw. Okay, so I feel like this is just a reminder that, maybe you're getting out of your comfort zone feels uncomfortable, or maybe getting out of your comfort zone is like, oh, I'm breaking all the rules of like my family or my culture, or, this image I had of myself, or who am I without this and this thing, right? So the Outlaw is just reminding you like, you can have a new story, you can change, you can have a new life, you can have these new situations, right? The Outlaw is like, going against the grain and going against these systems that we buy into and we believe about ourselves. And we're just like, oh, I have to keep doing this. This is what has to happen. This is what has to be my life. This is, whatever. When so many times we keep ourselves trapped in that way, instead of knowing we can walk through the door, we can go to these next things, right? So the Outlaw is just about, you can think on and reflect like, what ways am I believing I have to follow this, and this thing, when maybe you don't anymore, like where can you break the rules a little bit? Where can you understand that like, oh, that was just something I believed in and subscribed to for this amount of time, but now I know I don't need to anymore. How can I move forward? How can I give myself permission to grow and change in that way? And just remembering, like that all of that exists outside of our comfort zone, right? Our comfort zone is just what's familiar to us. It doesn't mean it's better for us or worse for us. It's just more familiar, more practiced, a greater part of how we identify with ourselves. But again, you can change, you can have a new story, you can have these new things happen to you and for you as you decide to take the steps to do that. And then we have the card Strength. Okay, so again, just a good reminder, if you feel like I can't do it, I'm scared, I'm whatever, just remember, one day at a time, one thing at a time. God is always guiding us. God is always there with us. And so this strength is a reminder like you can do it. And the part of never feeling ready is sometimes we think, well, I don't feel strong enough. I don't feel confident enough. I don't feel whatever. You don't have to feel like the strongest person alive to be doing it. You don't have to feel like, oh, this is so easy to be able to do it and move forward, right? Strength is also about just getting it done and making it happen, even if you don't feel like, oh, that was so simple, that was so easy, whatever, right? Strength is having the courage to start. Strength is keep going. Strength is moving down the path, even if you're not feeling like, the most confident person ever in the way you're doing it, right? Doing it is strength. It doesn't have to mean it feels easy. It just means that you are doing it and you are making it happen. Okay, so keep moving forward, get out of your comfort zone, trust in what you're being guided to do, trust in the unfolding, trust what the desires are in your heart, trust, like, again, the next right action you can take. You don't have to know the whole picture. You just have to trust, like, okay, I can feel in my heart space, I can feel this is my guidance, I can feel this is what's for me. And if that's true, then, what can you do with that? Okay, and we're going to close with one affirmation card for you, group one. Joy is the ultimate creator. Okay, so a lot of times, so I think this is just a reminder that, being motivated outside your comfort zone is just remembering, like, you want to focus on why you want to do something, why you want to move out of your comfort zone. And usually that's connected to joy. That's the ultimate creator, right? Sometimes we can be like, well, I want this much money. I want to be famous. I want this. I want that. And if you have all these like physical reality reasons, that's not long-term motivating, right? Like it could be, I want to start a YouTube channel because that feels joyous in my heart. And I know I want to share a message with the world. Feel that energy versus like, I want to start a YouTube channel so I have 1 million followers, so I make $8 million, so I can whatever. Okay. And so like those are valid, right? But that's not necessarily coming from like a very connected to God, connected to getting out of your comfort zone, connected to like, this true spiritual reasons why we're here on earth. And so just remembering, if it's feeling difficult to get out of your comfort zone, this is a reminder to check in with like, okay, well, what am I creating from? Am I, and a lot of times when I was talking about, when you have the gift of desperation, it's like, I feel so bad. I just want to feel peace and joy again. Okay. So remembering joy is the ultimate creator. And when you are being motivated and inspired from that place, it's so much easier to keep moving. It's so much easier to keep going. It's, it makes things more clear. And then you're not as attached to, okay, well, it has to be this, and this way, when instead it's like, well, this feels good. And this feels like the right thing for me. And not good in like superficial good, but good in like, I know this is the better thing for me long term. So just really trusting that and trusting that energy instead of like, oh, it has to feel like I need to be motivated by this external thing, but instead being motivated by like being still and connecting to God and feeling like that joy and that presence in your heart. Okay, that's everything I have for you, group one. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you ever want any more information about me, all of that is linked below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 2. So as a reminder, this is just a quick 10-minute reading. I'm just going to pick 3 tarot cards for you and then some oracle cards. And so group 2, you guys pick confidence is your key to success, new moon in Leo. So it is Lionsgate, so we got some Leo energy going on here, okay, for you. But this is just a reminder that, confidence is your key to success. Confidence, most of us are taught, and there's a lot of programming in our society that confidence is like, be like, the loudest and look at me and all this attention and blah, blah, blah. And like, okay, Leo energy is like that, but confidence in general is more about this like centered, clear sturdiness within yourself than like doing anything external to be like, look at me, da 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 da. It's like that saying, confidence is silent and insecurities are loud. And so this is just a reminder that, confidence is your key to success. That's so much about trusting and having faith in yourself and what you're doing and what you're offering, more than, sometimes people conflate confidence with like being extroverted, or confidence with like, being like charming and all this stuff, but this card is really about confidence is your key to your success, is really about really owning what you have to offer and offering that to the world in a way where you feel like, okay, this is a way I'm here to be of service. This is something I can offer. This is something that feels good for me to offer, instead of just being like, oh no, this isn't something for me to give. This isn't something that whatever, right? Confidence is your key to success, is a reminder that, when you really feel in your heart that you're doing the service you're asked to do in this world, you're asked to show up in this way, not make it about you, be in this realm in these certain things, right? Confidence is your key to success, is a reminder that like confidence comes from having faith in God and having faith in what you're being guided to do and how you're showing up and doing that. It doesn't mean that you have, 10 million followers and you talk to this many people a day, you can be very confident in the service you offer, even if you're behind the scenes, even if you don't get public recognition, even if, it's just knowing that you trust that the place that you're in to give the services that you give, to be of service in these certain ways, to connect with people in these ways. Confidence is trusting your gifts. And, part of trusting God is trusting the gifts we're given, trusting what we're guided to do, trusting, all of that. So this energy confidence is your key to success. And that doesn't mean worldly success too, like success is really, again, like everyone defines success for themselves. Maybe, there is worldly success for you in that, but remember, it doesn't have to be, right? Success can just be like, am I proud of what I'm doing? Am I proud of what I've made? Am I proud of how I've shown up in this world? Am I living with integrity? Am I following my heart? Am I being of service? Am I being kind? Right. So I think group 2, this is a good reminder. Like if you're feeling off in your life, like, oh, well, I only helped these 3 people today instead of 300 people. It's like, well, did you help the 3 people you helped? Were you kind to them? Did you offer loving energy? And if so, that's better than 0, and like part of confidence and faith in God is trusting, like if you're doing your part, trusting that everyone else is doing their part, and all together it all adds up. And so this confidence is your key to success, I think, is, again, trusting what you have to offer, trusting the gifts, trusting how you feel called to show up and the things you can offer this world, and not feeling like, oh, I need to be better or more or louder, blah, 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 right? How you're doing what you're doing right now is more important in terms of service than what you're doing, right? So just thinking about how you can embody that energy and offer those things to this world. Okay, I'm going to start with 3 tarot cards for you, group 2. Okay, so you guys got the World, 5 of Cups, and 9 of Pentacles. Okay, so what I'm really seeing here with this is like, just this energy of you have to let some things go, group 2, in order to like own this confidence with that. So the World, this is about the completion of a cycle. This is about letting something go. This is about moving into new energy. Okay, and so that right next to this 5 of Cups, I feel like there's something you need to mourn or let go of, or just like really give yourself permission to feel, maybe this confidence that we're working on, or this new way you're being guided to go. Maybe you have to let go of something that you did for a long time, or a relationship, or this way of being, or a way you see yourself, or I don't know, not me, but it's just a reminder that like when we complete a cycle, there's always things we have to let go of, right? The earth and our life is always about balance. It's always about, I have to do this thing in this way and this thing in this other way. And so the world here is about, completing a cycle, letting things go, and remembering sometimes that does come with loss. It does come with mourning. It doesn't mean that it's the wrong choice. It doesn't mean that the confidence you're building within yourself won't be worth it if you do that. But it's just a reminder that we do, as we move on to these next things, there's always things we have to let go in that process, and really trusting that. And then, because when you get there, we have this 9 of Pentacles, this is the confidence card. I mean, this is someone who feels really embodied, feels really emboldened, has a lot of like abundance there with the Pentacles, just this energy of like, it just feels like you have to trust your confidence by letting go of things that aren't for you. And that's another thing I'm hearing for you guys in group 2 is like, sometimes we can block our blessings, or sometimes we can be like, oh no, like I don't know, I don't feel confident because we're holding on to something that like can't come with us to that next place. Or we still think, oh well, I could be like that in this scenario, but like you can't. You have to let go of the old you. We don't go through a rebirth for no reason, right? There's something on the other side for us. So this is really about trusting, these cycles you're going through, what you have to let go. And there is this like death, rebirth cycle. There's birth, death, birth. It's like so many times we go through that in life. And so this is just a reminder to trust the process, and trust that your confidence will come about from doing some of these hard things and holding yourself accountable to grow and change, even if it might not, it doesn't feel the best sometimes when we have to do that. But that's, again, part of life on earth, and part of what we're asked to do and how we're asked to show up. Oh, then we have fear is an illusion. So very good, just what I was talking about. So fear, if you've heard fear being false evidence appearing real, sometimes we can be afraid to let a cycle be complete, to let something go, because we're like, oh no, this old thing happened and it's going to happen again and blah, 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 right? But then we have this Four of Cups, remember, of just like, a lot of times what the mind makes up something to be is worse than what it actually is. And what the mind tells you, like, oh, it's going to be so bad and you're not going to survive and blah, 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 right? All of that, fear is an illusion. And just remembering, like, there is healthy fear to like keep us focused, or to be like, okay, don't go this way, don't go that way. But this is the energy of really, false evidence appearing real, and just remembering, like, it is safe to move forward. It is safe to build your confidence. It is safe to trust your skills. It is safe to, trust these ways that you're being, your heart is guiding you to show up, and the gifts you've been given, and trusting yourself, trusting, you don't have to play small. Like, you can be confident in like a truly humble way. Like, confidence and humility can coexist. They definitely do. And in fact, the most pure confidence exists with humility. And so don't be afraid that like being confident means you're going to be, this total jerk, or you don't care about other people, or you just like totally become a different person, right? Confidence really is about more just about owning what God has given you, and owning that, and really trusting to be able to offer that to the world. And then we have soul work. I love this card. I think it's so beautiful, first of all, this little bee. But then also a reminder again, like, parts of these growing and changing, and things we move into, and things we're asked to grow into and change, that is part of soul growth. And so it can be sad, and it is sad to like leave these things behind. And it is helpful to mourn that and know that is part of the soul work. And part of the soul work is connecting all the pieces, holding all the parts, not pretending something isn't happening, but just, again, holding space for yourself in that way. And you can see even this bee has like a little diamond right there, and just trusting that these things that feel uncomfortable to us are actually, building confidence. And, we get a lot of confidence so much from doing the action and pushing ourselves to doing something that doesn't feel the best. We think, oh, well, when I feel confident, I'll do it. But we actually build self-esteem, and we build confidence, and we build trust in ourselves from taking these like smaller actions and them adding up. So again, if you're feeling like, oh, can I do this? Can I do this? Just start, and then you'll build that momentum and keep going. Oh, and then we have sacred, very beautiful. So again, I feel like this is a similar theme of soul work here, of just like, this path you're on, these things you're doing, the gifts you have to offer is really sacred. It really is a gift from God, specifically written for you and what you can offer the world. And so just trusting that, remembering that, and holding that, instead of feeling like, oh no, who am I to do this? Who am I? Whatever, right? We need everyone to use their gifts. Okay. And so it is a sacred thing. It is on purpose. It is something, divinely written for you and your soul to be able to do that. So trust these sacred parts of yourself, these things that feel good to you, these things that feel like, part of what your heart and soul is calling you to do. And then we'll close with one affirmation card. The presence of love will always cast out fear. So again, I feel like this false evidence appearing real card, this reminder, like, if you feel afraid to feel confident, if you feel like, oh, who am I, whatever, just remember, you can channel God's like love and care into you. And you can remember, like, okay, God is this loving presence. Like, if my intentions are pure, I can trust that, and I can move forward. Just remember, when you hold yourself with a lot of compassion and kindness, like, all of that is going to add up and help you and support you, and that will help push you through these like things of like, oh, who am I good enough, all of that. So trusting in the presence of love, and trusting that God goes with us wherever we go, and you can tap into that loving, kind presence to help you move forward. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you ever want any more information about me, all of that is linked below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi everyone, welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 3. So as a reminder, this is a 8/8 reading. So I will be reading just 10-minute readings for you for this 8/8 Lionsgate for you. Okay, so group 3 you all picked, don't let your past hold you back, South Node. So this is really about, don't let your past hold you back. Okay, this is about remembering that, sometimes we have patterns and things we do that we don't even like them. They don't serve us. We just feel like, oh, that's how I am. This is how I've always been. This is what I have to offer. This is, whatever. This is really saying, the past can always be released. You can choose something different. You can be different. You can have a new story. So don't let the past hold you back. This is just a reminder that, there is a time to where we have to be accountable to ourselves, to realize that, like, okay, well, just because I could respond in this old way, do I want to? Just because I've done this particular pattern 5 million times, do I want to do it 5,000,001 times? Okay. So don't let your past hold you back. This isn't so much about, like, again, we're not spiritually bypassing, we're not minimizing, like, there are very real things that can block us and be things that need time and energy to work through. But this is more about, like, I'm just getting, like, your relationship with yourself, just because you were this certain way for so long, or, these things of like, oh, well, I've always been like that, so I always have to keep being like that. This is really energy about, like, you can have a new story, you can choose something different for yourself. You don't have to let your past hold you back anymore, and we can change. And even if you don't know where to start, you can just start with the affirmation, like, I'm willing to change, I'm willing to be different, I am willing to let myself be new in whatever way, right? So if you have nowhere to start, it just starts with willingness. It starts with opening your heart, and starts with remembering, like, you don't have to let these things, the previous ways of being you've been. You can be different, you can have new habits, you can have new patterns. And so this card, I think, is more about, like, again, not things that you couldn't control or things that were out of your control, but just more of your relationship with yourself, and more of, it doesn't matter what you've done in the past. We all have the opportunity to be new people, to do something different, to change our lives, to, become a different person. And that happens, slowly and steadily through these things. So don't let your past hold you back is, just really honoring that place, instead of feeling like, oh, well, I've always been like that and there's no hope for me to be different. Right? You can be different, letting yourself let go of these patterns, of these default ways of being, and trusting the ways to grow and expand, instead of, like, oh, I'm never gonna get there. I'm never, whatever. Just, again, having faith in that. Okay, I'm gonna pick 3 tarot cards for you, group 3. Okay, so we have the Fool, King of Pentacles, and Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so I feel like this is, I'm getting a lot of fake it till you make it energy here, group 3. Okay, and this isn't like, fake that you, like, don't do reckless things while you're faking it. Okay, but this is about more about embodying. Sometimes people are like, I don't feel ready, or that doesn't feel like me, or it doesn't whatever. Well, part of changing a pattern is delusion. Okay, there is healthy delusion when we're changing our patterns. And that's really what the Fool represents, right? This really represents, like, all right, I'm going to walk off this cliff and hope that there's just, like, another little rock right down here, even if I can't see it. Okay, so this Fool energy is really, don't let your past hold you back, of just, like, you have to get to the place where you're like, oh, I don't want to do this thing, so I'm just going to act like I don't do it anymore, right? I don't do this anymore, so let me just embody this new energy of being this new thing, right? So this is really about, part of changing it is, like, changing the pattern. We think, like, okay, when I'm ready, then I'll change. When I want a new thing, then I'll change. But so much of change is about just being, like, acting as if, and then it builds momentum, and then you're like, oh wow, look at that. Because we see the Fool right into this King of Pentacles. This King of Pentacles is about so much abundance. It's about just being really confident in who you are, just like look at him, it looks amazing, just draped in, like, this ivy beautiful pattern of, like, can't be bothered, looking at his pentacle, right? So this is just, like, really taking that first step and knowing that your confidence and your trust in, like, becoming this new person and having this new pattern and letting these things go, I think all of that is adding up, and all of it is helping you. And the confidence, again, it grows. Like, we think, okay, well, I can't be different, or I won't be different until this and this changes, right? But actually our confidence grows when we start taking action, when we've shown ourselves, when we've committed to something, when we've done something a certain amount of times, right? So it's, the ego can tell us, like, okay, well, I'll change my behavior, or I'll change my thoughts and then I'll change my behavior. But actually changing your behavior helps you change your thoughts. It's easier to act into a new way of thinking than think into a new way of acting a lot of the times. And then Wheel of Fortune coming out. I love the Wheel of Fortune. It's just a card of like the tables are turning, fate's on your side. So as you move forward and as you do take the step forward and as you do, start these things, like that's when momentum builds in your life because you're just focused on you and what you can do differently. And then that's when things start working for you because you're doing your part. So God is always doing God's parts for us. God is always helping us. God is always looking out for us. But once we start doing these things and taking action and moving forward, then the wheel of fortune, these hands of fate are turning, God's helping us, God's connecting the dots, right? So this is just focusing on don't let your past hold you back. Again, like we're not minimizing or bypassing things that happened to you that you couldn't control, that didn't feel the best, but this is more energy about trusting, like, okay, those things happened to me, but here's some things I still have control over in my life. And so that's what I'm going to focus on. And that's what I'm going to do. And holding space for that within yourself instead of just saying like, oh, well, I did this, and this thing. So now that's how it always has to be for me. Instead of, knowing that, okay, that was the thing I did for a while. And now I can choose to be a different person. I can have a new story. I can have a new life. And again, just start by taking the action, start by trying it out. And then eventually that's going to add up and build momentum and help you to not let the past hold you back and help you to be different. And then I'm going to pick an oracle card for you guys. I'm going to switch some oracle cards. The supply is infinite. So yeah, so I feel like this is a good reminder, if you're really in that energy of like, well, I've always been like that. I always was this way. I always whatever, right? Nothing is permanent. We can change. We can become different people. We can have different habits. The supply is infinite just means like God is infinite. And therefore, there's so many people we are in one lifetime. There's so many things that we go through. There's so many things that just feel like abundant and clear to us. And so just a reminder, the supply is infinite. It means like there's no shortage on who you can allow yourself to become, how you can allow yourself to show up, how you can allow yourself to just, expand into new ways of being. There's, and we think, oh, well, it has to be this, or this way, but the supply is infinite also means, with this wheel of fortune, like as long as you're doing your part, you have no idea the ways that God can help connect the dots or help you change, the people you'll meet, the things you'll do as you go along the path. As long as you're willing and you try to put one foot in front of the other to be different, to have something different in your life, you never know what one different decision is going to add up in your life for all these other things too. So just really trusting that and knowing that the supply is infinite and that the supply is infinite and that will keep again, I'm seeing, the snowball, the momentum, just keep doing one thing differently, keep showing up, keep committing to yourself. And over time, all of that adds up. And then suddenly you have this new habit or you're a new person and you're like, oh my God, when did that happen? How did this happen? Okay. Then we have shadow. So I feel like, this is a reminder that, don't let your past hold you back. That can be, so our shadow self is the part of us that maybe we've rejected or we don't feel the most proud of or we don't whatever. So I think this is a very clear message for you guys in group 3. Like you can't pretend like you can't ignore it. Okay. Like I was saying, there is a healthy level of delusion to move forward and, whatever, but you can't avoid what happened. So I think holding space for it or just being like, let's say you want to I don't know, let's say you want to have a new fitness routine. Like you can't pretend like you didn't work out for 5 years and that you can suddenly run 10 miles tomorrow and whatever. Okay. So that's just a small example, but it's an example of like, I'm just hearing like, don't pretend like you're somewhere other than you are right now. And like trying to release any shame you feel about that. Like everyone who's a master at something had to start as a beginner. So if you're really feeling a lot of shame of like, oh my God, I can't believe I got to this place in my life, or I didn't do this, or, whatever, I think, don't let your past hold you back. It's just like, look, when we know better, we do better. And none of us, including me, no one on earth has has a completely, nothing that they aren't like slightly embarrassed about or like, oh my God, how did I get here? How did this happen? Okay. So I think just really sending yourself some love and compassion, knowing you did the best you could and knowing that like, okay, that was something that I'm not the most proud of, or I don't feel the best about, but you can move forward and you can, allow that shadow to not overcast into who you are right now and how you want to move forward and the things you want to do and offer in this lifetime. It's really important to have faith and trust that instead of, just being like, okay, well, I can't move forward because this and this thing. Everyone has a past. Everyone has things we outgrow and patterns we stop doing and things that, don't serve us anymore. And so just holding yourself with some love and compassion there instead of, judging yourself for it, and so for just being human and growing and changing. Okay, then we have invigorate. So I feel like, again, this is just like, it's just I love this. This fool is really good for you, group 3. Okay, I'm getting a lot of fool vibes for you. So just remembering, like, you can be motivated to do this. And what I'm okay. What I'm hearing is, like, when you feel excited to do something, when it's time to move forward, don't think you can go to like 0 to 100 overnight. Okay, so like if we use the fitness routine example, right? Let's like you're not gonna, let's say you don't run at all right now, you're not gonna be able to run 10 miles tomorrow just because you want to. So invigorate is, I think, holding on to that emotion, but still setting these goals that are more smaller according to the ego, and like using that energy to invigorate and motivate you instead of like, I'm going to change my whole life overnight. Like, that's not sustainable. How many times have we done that, myself included? Okay. Like, just really trusting, okay, this was a thing that I did for a while, and now, um, I want to be different. And so I'm going to hold on to that energy instead of like, spewing this everywhere and just being like, I can do all this stuff immediately overnight and there's no problems and nothing will ever be bad. And, all of this. So I think invigorate coming from like that motivation within yourself and the discipline within yourself to do that, instead of just, being like, I'm going to change everything overnight and not having a plan. And then, of course, like when it doesn't work, then we get frustrated and, all of that. So just trusting when we feel invigorated, we can allow ourselves to, how do I have a plan to make that long term, instead of just like being motivated from this place of like, um, I feel so motivated today and not tomorrow, so I'm not going to do anything. So how can you cultivate more like discipline and day-to-day commitment to things, instead of, like all this all or nothing energy? Okay, then your affirmation card, closing your reading. I create mindful moments throughout the day, reminding myself that I am love and miracles are natural. So again, if this feels like impossible or feels like I can't get over this, I can't, like, whatever, I think, you can remind yourself miracles are natural, and mindful moments throughout the day. That can just be something as simple as being like, wow, remember when I thought I would never stop doing this other thing? Or remember when I thought God forgot about me in this way? Or remember when I thought, whatever. So just paying attention to ways things are working out for you right now. It doesn't even have to be with this goal or whatever came up for you while I was talking, but just remembering that, love and miracles are natural. God is protecting us. God is helping us. God is doing so much for us all the time. And so this is just about trusting that and remembering that, you can allow these things to happen, and just, letting God change you and guide you about how to do that is so much more powerful than forcing yourself and shaming yourself into change. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you ever want any more information about me, all that is linked below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 4. So I'm just going to be doing a quick 10-minute reading for you today with a few tarot cards and some oracle cards for you. So you'll pick the card, Don't Let Pride Get in Your Way. Okay, so this is a good message for all of us. Okay, so there is such thing as like, pride is not what we're going for, but there is such thing as like healthy levels of self-esteem. There is such thing as healthy levels of confidence, right? But this card is a reminder of like, don't let pride get in your way. There's a saying from A Course in Miracles of, do you want to be happy, or do you want to be right? Do you want to have peace, or do you want to be right? Right? There's so many things where the ego can fuel us as self-righteousness that like blocks so many things in our life, right? There's so many things that we think like, well, I have to hold my ground, and I have to show them, and I have to do this, and I have to do that. And, it's like we can so easily let pride ruin our lives in so many ways, especially like, these capitalistic, materialistic, holding grudges, holding this, holding that type of way that's like encouraged in our society. And so obviously this isn't about having no boundaries or, not asking for the treatment you deserve or putting up with things that aren't good for you, right? But sometimes we can get so focused on like, well, I'm not going to get played, and I'm not going to get this, and I'm not going to whatever, that we can't even use differentiation in moments of like, well, is this a time for me to be forgiving? Is this a time for me to be loving? And like a way you can honor that within yourself, very simple way and underrated way, is really looking at, am I treating this person how I want to be treated? right? It's very, very simple. It gets overlooked of just like, okay, or is this situation, am I acting how I would want to be acting if the roles were reversed, right? We can let pride ruin our whole life, and it doesn't feel good to get, taken advantage of, obviously, but you have to know when to draw the line, and only I don't know, but just knowing that, ask this could be even something about like asking for help or admitting a mistake or saying, when I said this, I didn't actually mean it. And, I'm sorry for miscommunication, or I'm sorry for the way I acted, just really owning something and just knowing, like, offering that peace branch and that kindness to someone we love and care about really goes a long way. And like a lot of I think sometimes our pride and our ego we can forget how much like a sincere apology and sincere accountability that can go so far with so many people we love in our lives. But we forget because we're so worried about, our pride, and I was right and I did it to him and look at that, and I'm going to be toxic back and I'm going to match this energy back and I'm going to, whatever. And then it's like, okay, well, how much does that actually serve you? Like, again, do you want peace or do you want to be right? Do you want to be happy or do you want to be right? And then a lot of times once we put our pride down, then and we hold space for that, it's like, okay, well, it's not even an issue anymore. With healthy people, these things don't become issues long term. We just kind of deal with them and then move on, right? So this isn't people who, like, hold stuff over your head or make you, want to make you atone forever or any and all of this, right? This is more energy about like, don't let pride get in your way, of just like knowing, knowing when to ask for help, knowing how to stay humble, knowing when to admit you were wrong, knowing when you need to clean up your side of the street a little bit more than you have been. Okay, I'm going to pick 3 tarot cards for you guys in group 4. Okay, this is really interesting. Okay, so we have the 2 of Wands, the 4 of Pentacles, and the 6 of Pentacles. So I feel like this is very much reflected in Don't Let Pride Get in Your Way. This is really contemplative. I think that there's a situation you're dealing with that's like, well, should I do this or should I do not? Or should I have this or should I have not? Like, there's a lot of back and forth here. And then there's a lot of protecting yourself. Okay, a lot of that energy. And then with the 6 of Pentacles, it looks like it's coming from a place of like, this is about a power imbalance. This is about like, someone taking care of you in a way that feels like, embarrassing or vulnerable or whatever. So what I'm really hearing for you guys in group 4 is like, only you know what to do. Don't give your power away to me. Okay. I'm just some woman reading tarot on the internet. Okay. But this is really about, praying about it. I'm really asking God to help you see nuance in the situation and really see what is something old that's coming up that I've learned to protect myself. And what's a situation where, okay, is this time for me to surrender and be willing to try to be vulnerable and open? Most of us know how to protect ourselves. Most of us have learned through hardships in life how to like shut down and close off and be like, oh, okay, cut it off, gotta go, the end, block you, move on with my life, right? Most of us have had to do that to survive certain things. But what I'm really hearing with this one is you have to know when is the right time to trust someone to care for you and take care of you, and trusting that when, there are healthy people in your life, there are healthy people in the world, there are people who do want you to be vulnerable, to be open-hearted, to not do this. And, letting yourself be cared for can be nourishing. Letting yourself be vulnerable can be loving and kind and wonderful if it's with the right people. This information really can be like, you really can use discernment around like, okay, don't miss out on a blessing just because this situation needed you to be vulnerable, or needed you to like be more understanding than your ego wants you to be, or be more forgiving, right? So I think, this is a pretty intense message for you guys to report, okay? But if there's a situation where, you really can give someone grace in the way you would want to be given grace, I'm really hearing, a time for you to be reflective, and let's give someone space to be a human, just like you would want to be given that as well. So really just thinking about, okay, is this a time where it's just a learned pattern where I just want to shut down and close off and run away? Or is this a time for me to be open and kind of like offer the olive branch and give some give some awareness there. Or if your other lesson is not standing up for yourself and it is, just saying like, I can put up with anything, I can deal with anything, then maybe this is a time for you to practice leaving. Maybe this is a time for you to practice, saying no, setting a boundary. But I'm hearing like, this is a time for you to not let the pride and the self-righteousness of the same thing over and over and over again, like block you from doing something different, from making a decision. And also don't be rash is what I'm hearing. Really pray about it, really think about it, really give yourself permission to hear God's guidance, even if it's different or scary or, something that you didn't think was going to happen for you. So really holding space and trusting that for yourself. I just want to get one more tarot card just because this is it's a pretty clear message for you. And I just want to have one more thing coming out for you. Oh, okay, death. So yeah, so I feel like, so you're gonna die. No, just so this is about letting these old patterns die, letting this old pride die, letting this old way of like, I don't need any help, or I don't let anyone in, or I'm never gonna love again, or I'm never gonna trust someone again. Like, let that die, okay? Let this old pattern of like, I have to protect myself, I'm never going to love again, I'm never going to ask for help again, I'm never going to be creative again, I'm never going to whatever, like all of that is ego stories that we come up with to protect ourselves, which I get it, I've been there, but that's very much this energy. And so now I think, letting that die, letting yourself be cared for, letting yourself care for other people, letting there be a time where we all need love and care at different times in our lives. There's times where we're going to need to lean on people a little bit more, and they're going to need to lean on us a little bit more, especially with these long-term relationships. So let your pride die, let the sun rise on a new day, on a new way of being. It's pretty crystal clear for you in group 4. It's time to be different, and don't let pride get in your way. It could be in a relationship, or it could just be even, asking for help, asking for assistance, saying you don't know, saying it's time to start over, do something different, all of that. Look at that, infinite power within. So yeah, this is just a reminder that, even if it's feels like, well, I could never break this pattern because I'm holding very, very tightly onto my things and I'm blocking my heart chakra and I'll never open it, I'll never let my pride go. Okay, there's infinite power within. God does so many miracles on all of us. God helps us so much. God does so many things for us. And so this infinite power within can just be a reminder that like you can change, things can be different, you can have a new pattern, you can trust yourself to have a different experience in life with its way. So infinite power within is just, you don't have to, how it was before doesn't have to be how it is forever. You can give yourself grace to change and to be different and to have a new story, a new experience. And that really comes like letting your pride go and letting your ego die and just saying, even just starting with God, like, please help me, God, the gift of desperation, or just please show me what to do. Please show me how to be different. Please show me, this new way of being that I want in my life, right? With that, oh my God, can't make this up. Look at that, death and death, baby, crystal clear. So whatever way you're trying to, again, protect yourself, let this old pattern come up, like, I'm really, the scenario better than I do, obviously, but there needs to be some death of something here for you guys in group 4. There has to be some death that comes up, some type of something, releasing something, letting something go, this belief that, maybe you cultivated to protect yourself, which, no judgment, I've had those, I've had to release those, okay? But this death energy around, when a pattern has served its purpose, you have to be brave enough to let it go in order to be able to let the new one in, the new soul growth in, the new way of being in. So, it can be scary to let those things die, especially because we believe they're keeping us safe. But just remember, like, if it's causing you more harm than good, if it's you're holding on to it out of pride and it blocks things in your life that are for you, that obviously that's not worth continuing to hold that in your energy field and in your life and in your space. Let's look at that. Abundance, hollyhock, abundance. So this is a reminder, when you are brave enough to be different, when you are brave enough to choose something different, to have something different in your life, there is abundance there. There is, again, I'm just really hearing that Course in Miracles quote, do you want to be happy or do you want to be right? Do you want to have peace? Do you want to be right? Do you want to have love or do you want to be right? Like, abundance comes from not having pride, from letting go of the self-righteousness, from letting go of all of that. So there is abundance for you, but you have to be willing to be vulnerable with the right people, of course, not just with everyone, right? It's healthy to have boundaries. It's healthy to want to have different relationships with different people, but just remembering like abundance is there for you, but it is up to you to do that in a way that is, honoring yourself, but knowing like you don't have to be fearful to let these things go. There is, when with the right situations, the right people, the right whatever, things that are for you, less pride will bring you more abundance. It will bring you more intimacy, it'll bring you more vulnerability, it will bring you more understanding, it will bring you more kindness, it will bring you more, any and all of that. Then if you keep holding on to that and keep blocking it and keep protecting yourself, right? Okay, we'll close one affirmation card for you guys. I honor how I want to feel. Really beautiful. So again, I think all of this, again, this all stems back to don't let this pride get in your way. It's like if you want to feel loved and cared for and abundance and all of that, you can't let your pride block you. If you want to feel connected to someone and vulnerability and intimacy, you can't let your pride block you. So honoring how you want to feel includes, I want to feel loved and cared for and taken care of. Well, guess what? You can't build any of that unless you let yourself have some of that. I want to feel like, I know what I'm doing and I know how to make the right choices. Well, you can't feel like that if you are too prideful to ask for help or say you made a mistake or anything like that. So honoring how you want to feel includes, having behaviors that reflect that and that give you permission to, again, feel cared for and loved and taken, just doing what you need to do to honor those feelings instead of pretending like you don't have them or pretending like they can just appear out of nowhere without you doing your part. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you ever want any more information about me, all that is linked below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.